Broadcasting from the Merritt Hall Studios out of Carson City, Nevada. You're listening to Covering the Field with Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, and Joe the Answer Ellison.
Guys, Major League Baseball is back in full swing after the All-Star break, but suddenly the trade deadline is fast approaching. Deadline's August 1st. Strangely enough, best player in baseball, Angels, Shohei Ohtani could be on the move. Question: should the Angels trade Shohei Ohtani, and where will he or should he go? Pro and con.
Well, isn't he going to be a free agent at the end of the year?
Yes, it's the
So
end of
literally,
the
the Angels are about to get nothing for the best player in baseball if they don't trade him.
So they have to.
So I
trade him.
think that they're going to rent him. I think the thing isn't trading him. Whoever's going to take him is going to rent him for the rest of the year. Is that correct? I mean, they're going to rent, and then he's going to be a free agent.
Right. Yeah, unless you can work out something where you sign him, and you know that's part of the trade that, hey, you're going to sign him. But
You want to.
yeah,
Wouldn't it be great if he went to the Giants, which Giants never sign anybody, so.
Okay,
Well-
sorry about this is not about the Giants right now. This is about Shohei Ohtani, and I think it would be great because I think Giants. There was some giant. If you ever watch Godzilla, the Japanese, I think that would be a great pick for the giant. Godzilla could be the new mascot instead of that stupid seal.
So,
Anyway, I think that would be great for baseball. But I think it is good for baseball. We're talking about he's in the middle of a chance to be the home run king.
Yeah. What's he got, 34?
he's got 35.
35.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, the Dodgers and Yankees are the only two that can really support the amount of money that he's going to just uber amounts of money he's going to get.
Well, the Mets don't have any money left.
Or they have nothing. And the Padres don't have anything left. So, and the Dodgers, they're West Coast. I believe he wants to stay in the West Coast. Angels are not for him, though. I mean, they basically wasted Mike Trout's career, and they'll do the same all the time.
I'm going to answer this question. If you're the Angels, do you have a chance to to go to the playoffs?
Well, I see pro for the trade. They're about 5 games back in the wild card race. I don't think they're going in the wrong direction. That's the problem. They're not getting better. Their record's getting worse. With the contract running out, he's not going to re-sign with the Angels, right? So
They're 9 games back, Joe.
9 games back in the division,
West,
but
and
5 in the wild card,
right.
though.
Right.
Yeah. So it just seems unlikely they're going to make the playoffs.
Let me throw you this pitch. Who, Joe, did you say has the least amount of payroll?
Well, the A's and the Orioles have the lowest.
I think you said
payrolls.
Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa Bay is like the 4th lowest, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's
Orioles are
kind of
actually
tanking right now.
A's
Has a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Has a lot of cap room. Wouldn't that be a great rent
Sure.
for Tampa Bay?
Right.
I think that's a good fit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the Dodgers are going away from the big payroll because they end up like the Mets and the Padres. It obviously doesn't work paying more for players that don't produce in the postseason.
Plus, you need to get fans in those seats in Florida.
But I think we all agree pretty much, though, they have to trade him.
They have to get anything out of
Yeah.
it.
You can't just let him go walk. That's it.
So
You'll get nothing further, and that GM will immediately be fired.
no. Well, as far as his stats, Ohtani pretty amazing. The con against the trade. I mean, Angels haven't been in the playoffs in 9 years, so here they have a chance to actually make it for once. So maybe you do keep him, but and of course his stats: 35 home runs, on pace for 60. He's batting .307, 76 RBIs. He also leads the league in triples. Could you imagine how many players would you say ever have led the league in home runs and triples in the same season? There's some trivia right there.
It's a great trivia question. I'd have to say maybe one.
There were 3.
Okay.
And you almost said his name.
Yeah. Mays. Yeah, I was thinking Willie Mays. I was thinking maybe Ken Griffey Jr., maybe in his early years, maybe.
Yeah,
when he
we're
was.
going to have to go back a little further. Mickey Mantle, believe it or not.
Wow.
And more obscure one, Jim Rice. So
Jim Rice.
Jim Rice.
A lot of triples on that green wall in the Fenway.
Exactly.
Okay,
That right center field.
Right.
I could see him. He's underrated
A young
as
Jim
far as
Rice.
running.
A young
Yes.
Jim Rice.
So
That's a great
that'd be
question.
only the fourth one ever. So, and he's on pace to do that. Oh, and he also pitches, by the way.
100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
100 miles an hour.
He's 7-5 with a 3.5 ERA, 139 strikeouts and 105 innings. That's pretty awesome. He's, that's why you keep him, because he's an amazing player and you still have a shot to make the playoffs.
Right. If you have if you have an above average pitcher and you have the best hitter in baseball, well, he should have 2 salaries.
Yep, absolutely.
So
as far as the Dodger theory, owner Artie Moreno, he says he will not trade him to the Dodgers. It makes sense. Obviously, they share the same market, right? So why improve your closest rival, right? It's going to take money away from you. And but then again, if you just let him go at the end of the season, maybe the Dodgers will sign him.
Right.
So you don't get anything, and he still ends up on the Dodgers.
Right.
So you got to trade him somewhere like far away.
Does he have a trade clause?
No.
So he can basically, he has to go wherever he gets traded then.
That's right. And, the Yankees make the most sense to me. Obviously, a lot of people think that. I know he wants to stay on the West Coast, but he doesn't get a choice. This isn't the NBA. You can't make your own trades. You're stuck in baseball. So I think he's going East Coast, whether he likes it or not. But
for the rest of the year, and then he'll go wherever he wants after that.
He'll go to the highest bidder or wherever he wants to play.
All right, let's move on.
We have 12 days for the Angels to figure this out.
Nah, they're not.
Trade deadline August 1st.
Who knows? If they go on a 12-game winning streak, he's going to stay, right?
I think the one is more Soto. I think you'll see the Mets and the Padres both dump their roster. So
absolutely.
I think you'll see that's the ones you.
Well, they have things to trade for. I mean, decent players,
right?
So maybe that's a possibility. But as far as the trades, every team needs something to improve their team. Even the Braves, everybody's got something to get. So this trade deadline
to Seattle
going to be amazing.
That'd be a great
with
pick, yeah.
Julio Rodriguez there, that young team, those pitchers.
And like we said, Ichiro, another great Japanese player, that'd be a good fit.
Seattle.
Okay. Well, Gator, let's now take a look at the teams that have recently been making us money. Who have been the hot teams in baseball lately?
All right. Well, I have Baltimore, Boston, Toronto, and the Dodgers. They're all been hot. 8-2 as of Tuesday.
Oh, the Giants, right? I mean, the
Giants
finally lost their first game last night since the All-Star break.
So they're 8-4 in 12 games.
And St. Louis.
St. Louis on a 5-game. Ever since you called your shot in the dark on the Cardinals, they've reacted to your pick.
They couldn't possibly play as bad as they were playing.
Well, they definitely couldn't pitch as bad.
No, for sure. Right. Texas and Milwaukee, I guess, were also playing pretty well right now. So, right, 7-3. Of course, you notice the 3 teams from the group of death. Of course, the American League East. You got Boston, Baltimore, and Toronto.
And I think
it's so tough. And now the Yankees are in last place.
If you look at those stats, Joe, it goes back that those teams are always getting hot around this time. They're always in the first, May, April, May. Mm-hmm. But June, July, they usually come out that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So knocking the Yankees down to last. Poor George Steinbrenner is rolling around in his grave. It's horrible.
What about Tampa Bay? They had such a strong start in April, and now they're having such a worst July ever. I think they're 3-12.
They're 3-7 the last 10.
Yeah, and they're 3-11 in the last 14. So I mean, that's just about as bad as you can play, because the only teams playing worse are the A's.
Of course.
They're actually playing.
Well, they're
actually better. They're 5-8 in their last 13, and the Yankees or the Mets are 5-10 in the last 15.
Well, they're 31 and a half games back in the division and 27 games back on the wild card.
And they've been no hit this year and 1 hit.
And so they're on a 2-game winning streak, though. 2-game winning streak.
Right. Gator, who did you have on your cold list? The coldest teams to bet against.
I had Pittsburgh at 1-9.
Right.
And
I think they won yesterday, right? So they're 2-8 now.
2-9. Okay.
Yeah.
2-8.
Right. 2-9.
Okay, so then we have Oakland and New York, 2-8.
New York Yankees.
And then Kansas City and the Angels and Arizona, 3-7.
Miami is also like 2-8 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The White Sox, Kansas City, Cincinnati is diving.
Those two centrals, NL and AL.
Yeah, Cincinnati's 2.5 back from Milwaukee. They kind of cooled down a little bit, and they only have a 21% chance to win that division, according to what went all the way down.
Pittsburgh just totally fell off the map.
Yeah, they did.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, some more news around the league. San Diego third baseman Manny Machado hit his 300th home run of his career. Here's a good one. Monday, Boston relief pitcher Nick Pivetta threw 6 innings with 13 strikeouts. The 6th pitcher ever to record 13 strikeouts or more in a relief appearance. But he did do it against the woeful Oakland A's, but I guess it still counts anyway.
I think there'll be an asterisk on that. There'll be an asterisk.
Sure. Many of those this year, right? The other day, of course, Rockin' Ronnie loves this one. Los Angeles Dodger Chris Taylor hit a grand slam. Dodgers lead the league with 9 grand slams this year. Mm-hmm. And how about that day we had Tuesday? Huh?
Yeah, the day of the bats.
Yes.
12 teams went over 10 runs on Tuesday.
And that's the first time in a long time.
I think you have to go back to the 1800s, Joe?
1894.
1894.
We had 12 teams score 10 or more runs.
Right.
That's just unbelievable.
So you think they would be the obvious pick for the overs that day, but only 7 out of the 16. 7 out of 16 went under. So it was 7. Not only 9 went over on that big day. And 199 runs were scored that day.
All right. So on the injury front, just the main one, Cleveland starting pitcher Shane Bieber. He was put on the 15-day injured list, right elbow inflammation. So
Cleveland,
and they're fighting it out in that division. So
2.5 games back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that Giants game and Cincinnati game, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, San Francisco and Cincinnati played 11-10 in a great game. If you got to watch that game,
yeah,
they were back and forth all game. But those 2 cities also have football teams, and they played each other in Super Bowl 16 and 23.
Yep, they sure did.
So they had 21 points in that. So I'm going to ask you guys, sink or swim, that those 21 points those 21 runs would have outscored the halftime score in each game.
Oh, the halftime
score.
It was hard enough to remember the final score. I remember the final score. San Francisco 26-21 in one game, and it was 20-16 in the other. I'm going to say over. There were more points in the 26-21 game, and there was less points in the 20-16 game.
Joe, your analytics are correct, but you're off by just a little bit because 21. They scored 20 points in the first half of the one you're talking about, 2023. So it would have been 21-20 on that. So, but it was very, very close, like you just said. Good job on bringing up the final scores.
No kidding.
Now I have to remember the halftime.
Well, I had to bring it at least to the sacred swim.
Scores of all the Dallas Super Bowls. And that's about it.
And how many first downs?
Yeah, maybe so. How many turnovers too?
Exactly.
All right. So I guess we should thank Rockin' Ronnie McKinnon for most of those stats.
Well, thanks Rockin' Ronnie.
Yeah. So we should move on now to the National Football League, as some training camps have already opened. Some people might consider that not terribly interesting.
Just rookies.
But more importantly, the franchise tag deadline expired Monday. Las Vegas's Josh Jacobs, New York Giants' Saquon Barkley did not sign. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, who was the lead rusher last year? Josh Jacobs, right?
Josh Jacobs, 2,000 scrimmage yards, I believe.
Right.
But Derrick Henry did get hurt last year. He would have had that.
Right, yeah.
But the whole deal is the NFL does not want to pay running backs. They just don't. They don't value them. There's always one next man up. And it's terrible because these guys are a workhorse. They usually only get one contract and they never get another one. Or, unless you're Zeke or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jerry Jones has been generous.
And
he's been burned by it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, you know what? They signed Tony Pollard to a franchise tag. He took his $10 million and said, "Hey, I'll take what I get." Josh Jacobs and
Saquon Barkley.
They're not even going to show up to training camp. They're done. And why would you pay all that money to Daniel Jones? He's your answer?
Too late. They just did.
Yeah, they just did. Which,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
You know, when you look at it, $10 million isn't that bad. I mean, we would take it, but apparently, but you know, Jacobs and Barkley, they're basically the workhorses, you know, and Pollard, he was sharing time with Ezekiel Elliott.
Well,
Pollard's very happy to get $10 million.
Well, he was the backup. Now he's the star. Now he's the star with the big star in his helmet.
Yeah,
But Joe, I see it becoming more like the CFL. If that's what they're going to do, I mean, we already have a league like that, and then what the only thing that we're going to have as far as running backs would be rugby sevens.
yeah.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, if you're not going to pay someone to take that punishment, go through the middle, and then you're not going to pay him to take that punishment. I mean, the running back probably gets punished. I mean, he gets hit 3 or 4 times
Every time.
Yeah, and then a wide receiver might get pushed out of bounds, or might get hit maybe once. You're using one-on-one coverage.
Well, I heard this great point that was brought up on one of the shows on the mothership, and I heard it the other day. And basically, high school kids are not even trying to play running back. No, because they're like, you know what? We're not going to get paid. You know, I want to go to college. Most colleges have spread offenses. You know, the running back is basically a pass catcher. And
then you might have to block too.
Yeah, and then you got to block. I mean, and then once you get to the NFL, you're not even going to get paid. So a lot of them are just getting out of the position.
Right. Well, obviously, the NFL is a passing league more and more every year now. The rules are being changed for that. So
I would have paid Barkley. I would have paid Josh Jacobs.
Well, absolutely.
The amount of money the NFL makes is ridiculous. Fine. I got him for 3 more years. Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Pay him.
Well, just the leadership that Barkley has in that
The locker
room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, you might get a good deal on your fantasy drafts if they're not signed by then. I mean, that's something to bring into those fantasy players up there. So you gamble and take
and just wait
on Barkley and the
right. How high do you have to pick them and then not be able to play them?
Right.
I'm not taking either one of those guys if they're not showing up in the first couple rounds.
That's another thing, you know, at college, there's like 10 running backs that just step right in and start playing every year, first year in the NFL. So
right.
They are replaceable in a way. So they say running back peak is 27 years old. So you're spending your first 5 years busting your butt trying to get a contract. And then they say, well, now you're too beat up.
Yeah, you're too beat up. That's your prime.
Yeah. So
do you just pay them
to catch 22
rookie contract? Just pay them flat out what you would have given them the second contract then.
Yeah. And the owners, you know, they're all in on this. You know, this is like collusion, right?
Yeah, it is.
You know, none of the owners are going to change the market, obviously.
Jerry Jones might.
He might. I hope not. Are we going to sign Dalvin Cook too?
They might.
Hey, why not?
Why not?
That's a great fit. I mean,
Cook and freaking Pollard in the same backfield. That'd be amazing.
Well, Hopkins switching positions. He's now at Tennessee.
Yeah,
look at that.
Yeah.
Now you got Derrick Henry, you got Hopkins.
We said that last week on the show that we would bring that would be a great fit for him.
And who's your quarterbacks? Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill.
You got Malik Willis?
Levis. Willis sees, Levis will pass him up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you basically drafted 2 quarterbacks in the last couple of drafts, and you still got Tannehill.
That one, Willis one, didn't seem to pan out. So as far as the owners, they're what they screwed up the quarterback market. The Browns did by signing Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, they did.
So now all it takes is one owner to screw up the whole running back market, and they're getting together.
I'm telling you this.
This,
okay, if
they're not going to do it.
If you're a Giants fan out there, G-Men, you have to pay Barkley $10 million, but you can probably pick up Dalvin Cook at what, 2? Probably $3 million.
Oh, God. You would hope he'd get more than that.
I don't know if he would. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what his market is. He's said he's going to go to the Jets or to the Dolphins as well.
Dolphins, yeah. Well, he's went to Florida State, right?
Right.
So Dolphins make a lot.
Dolphins was my pick.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm going to pick.
But
the
I think
Dolphins
that he's not going to be getting the $10 million. I mean, I think you can get him at a discount.
I think that he has a chance to go to the Raiders and the Giants now.
Right.
So yeah, because they need a running back.
So many teams need a running back. The Bills. We could go on and on. But anyway, maybe we should switch over to NASCAR. What do you think, Gator?
Okay.
What happened last weekend? The Crayon 301.
Well,
New Hampshire.
Yeah, Christopher Bell, the winner of last year's race, he hit the wall, Joe, out of nowhere. Just went up, hit the wall.
He was leading the race,
and
he just crashed.
he just crashed
Just by himself.
by himself.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Well, Truex went. I mean, Truex had the best car out there. You can
By
see
far.
that. Yeah, how many laps did he lead?
So
200?
Truex was going to come up and pass him at the end.
I think he would have.
See, I was going to watch it Sunday,
We all were.
but then it rained, and then
Again.
they did the race Monday, and I missed it.
Well,
But
because people have to have jobs and can't stay home and watch NASCAR on
On
Monday.
Monday?
But so, what channel did they put it on?
USA.
USA. You couldn't tape it because I tried to tape it, and I had to tape 6 episodes of Chicago Fire
Uh-huh.
to get the race when I got home off of work. And at the end, I didn't even have the finish, so I couldn't even see the wreck at the end. So
Okay, well,
Well,
they did have 9 laps left when they brought out when they started it up again. That was the last caution of the day. And like you guys are saying, Truex didn't have any problems in those last laps.
plus 650. Not bad.
No, not at all. And he also went off at 3-1 right as they were going off. So
Oh.
that was good too.
People were pounding him.
yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. But
Actually,
still,
he was over Chris Bell at the fastest time, but he was, if you did the match, he was favored over Chris Bell.
Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joey Logano Ford, he received the checkers second, and Kyle Larson Chevy was in third.
All right.
So 1, 2, 3 different.
3 different manufacturers.
Yeah, I like that.
We like that.
Yep.
So that was a Toyota that won then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, they dominated
Plus 1,
this
2,
whole
5.
weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next Sunday is the highpoint.com 400 at Pocono Raceway,
Uh-huh.
Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
The tricky triangle.
Yeah.
Well, this one was kind of hard to handicap, Joe, because
Mhm.
Chase Elliott won last year, but he didn't win. We had 2 Toyotas that were.
How did he win or not win? Gator, explain that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had 2 Toyotas that didn't go through the
Inspection.
line inspection, correct? So they got pushed down and
Got disqualified.
made Chase Elliott the winner.
So
Oh,
Chase
okay.
Elliott finished third, and 2 cars were disqualified in front.
So
I can't
did he get
remember
to
who it
carry
was.
the checker flag, or did
No,
at the end?
No, it usually takes about an hour or so. You know, when you go up to
So after
Catherine,
they already drank the champagne and had the pictures with the Monster Girls,
Yep.
and then Chase Elliott, here's your trophy.
now as far as
Yep.
as far as betting purposes go, it used to be that whoever received the checker flag, that's what the books paid on. Well, that is not anymore. They have to wait until they all go through inspections.
Very good
I
point.
like that rule.
I like it too.
Because if they're cheating, they shouldn't win.
Except for if you have a winning ticket and you have something and you can't cash it for 4 days until after they pass the inspection.
Super Bowl, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Here we
A
go.
week later.
Get it right. Get it right.
Got my ticket.
You should know if you're
Holding
cheating
hostage.
before that. I mean, you should know if they've already cheated before.
Well, it
they-
wasn't NASCAR based on cheating. If you weren't cheating, you weren't winning
Back in the
Okay.
day.
back in the day.
Yeah. So,
Well, the tricky triangle. It's always a good one.
Can't set your card up to all. Well, I consider them 3 turns, but the drivers consider them 6 turns.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys this: does Kurt Busch with 4 wins at Pocono, Kyle Busch with 4, his brother has 3,
Yeah.
is the most in Poconos
well,
Probably
you know,
not.
ever?
ever.
Oh,
Of active racers.
active racers. Well, I'm going to say 4. Yeah.
Sure.
I would say I'll go with that.
Denny Hamlin was 6.
Oh,
Oh, really?
So Denny Hamlin,
back a
so
ways.
we're going back. He's been out there a while, so something to think about when you're betting. Denny Hamlin likes that track.
Right. And you like somebody else.
Well, I like Kyle Larson, and that's because Toyotas have been dominating the last 3 races, 3 races.
So they're due for a bad race.
But they are good at this track. Another one where you got Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, and Christopher Bell. Well, Christopher Bell, 12-1. That's pretty good. I expect that to go way down.
Well, I did notice Chevy and
Well, I think he's going to
Toyota.
wreck. He wrecked last 2 races,
Yeah.
and wasn't even anybody's fault but his own.
Chevy and Toyota on the manufacturer this week are very close. 125 and plus 130. So
Yeah.
we're just not expecting a Ford to do well, apparently.
No.
Okay.
Well, Ross Chesney's practice time's the fastest. So
He's a Chevy guy, right?
he's a Chevy guy.
Must say.
And but he spun out too. But he definitely had the fastest time out there. So far, I don't know, they haven't set the polls yet, so we'll see.
Right. Last week we did changing gears here. We did predict somewhat golf's final major. As we're sitting here, we're kind of watching it.
Yeah,
The
I'm actually shocked.
151st Open Championship. We call it the British Open, of course.
Yeah.
Royal Liverpool. And maybe we should review what we picked. I mean, you can actually bet as the tournament goes on.
Well, my pick right
There's
now
adjusted
is in
odds.
first place, so sure.
Oh, okay.
He's tied for first place. He's 5 under right now. Tommy Fleetwood was my pick.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
at 15-1.
Nice.
So
I think you also liked Victor Hovland, and Brooks Koepka. I was also on Koepka, John Rahm, and Jordan Spieth. Spieth's not doing too bad. He's like 2 under at the end of the first round. So,
yeah.
Long way to go.
Yeah,
Rory McIlroy had a great comeback at the Open, didn't he?
He won the Scottish Open last week.
Yeah, exactly.
8-1.
Yep.
So that was pretty good. And
but the best golf anywhere in the world last week was right in our own backyard here in Lake Tahoe.
Jeez, that's going to be my You Got Host story.
Okay, you got a story, man.
I got a big You Got Host story on
Steph
that.
Curry shoots a hole in one. I mean,
That was good.
can he do no wrong? He's splashing even on the golf course.
I was going to say, there's no rain yet in this British Open. It was supposed to be the wettest British Open of all times.
You know how they are.
Yeah, well, tomorrow it's going to start raining. And that started last night. So the Women's Soccer World Cup, that also started last night.
Yeah, what a great first
Began
game,
at midnight.
Awesome. Great entertainment, man. I'm telling you.
I enjoyed watching it.
Shoot, so did I, man. Exciting.
I was way too late last night, and we're in Australia and New Zealand. And last week we predicted the winners of the groups. We agreed on Spain, England, United States, France, Sweden, Germany. You took New Zealand, and I took Norway in one group, Group A, and you took us in Group B. You took Australia, and I took Canada. Other than that, we were pretty much in agreement.
And New Zealand won 1-0, and Australia won 1-0.
Amazing! You're all over it.
All over.
You're all.
Love
you already
soccer,
got
man.
Norway.
Soccer's a great sport.
Right. You picked United States to win it all, right?
Yeah, I say it's the United States against the world, but you got to watch out. Teams that you got to watch out for is Sweden, Germany, France.
Okay, I'm glad you put France in there because that was my pick. Okay, nice.
Gator, what about the Friday match? Tell me about how is us as a better? How are we going to bet this? How am I going to bet this Friday night soccer game against Vietnam?
Well, I'm not
this
sure.
This is a friendly, right? This isn't.
This counts. This is a group stage.
Okay.
There are 3 other teams in your
Nothing
group.
friendly about Vietnam.
And the top 2 teams from each group advance.
Okay.
So there's 32 teams now, and after the group stage, there'll be 16 left, and then it'll be, single elimination.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are your picks in these games?
I have nothing for Friday.
Okay.
Well, what's under over? Is it under over? What's the spread?
Okay. The spread for the United States is -6, -120.
Oh God, they have to win 7 to nothing at least.
Correct.
In order.
Do we have any analytics on Vietnam soccer team?
Yeah. How good's Vietnam?
Well, they're in the.
We're going to dig deep in the.
We're going to dig deep. Okay.
Yeah.
And will there be any landmines?
They qualified with what, like China and
Vietnam is ranked 32 in the world.
So they are the worst team
in the world.
No,
pretty much.
They're not the worst team in the tournament not by far. 77 Zimbabwe. Zambia,
Costa Rica. So there are some teams that are not in the tournament that are much better than Vietnam and Zambia and Costa Rica.
But that's the World Cup. You get that on the men's side too.
Yeah. You have to qualify to get
that's normal.
Okay. So they qualified and got in.
Yeah. Correct. So they're one of the worst teams.
We got Corky looking up this Vietnam stats here. There's nothing here in the Vietnam. We have to we're now on Vietnam Daily Record.
Vietnam, 37. Anyway, that's actually not too bad compared to some of these others that are in the 70s and stuff.
So you take the 6, take Vietnam, take the Viet Cong and 6 is what you're saying, Gator?
Are we going to take it easy on them?
You shouldn't. Because we're talking about group stages, you get 3 games.
Right.
And if you have any ties, we're going with plus minus.
So
they should But
goal
you're-
differential is a difference.
Okay.
So
They got to win. That's
the
why
tiebreaker could
that's
be
why the books are all over it.
how many goals you score.
Okay.
So let's go to Saturday instead.
Okay.
Saturday, I like Denmark. They're on a minus 190 on the three-way. They're at a minus 110 on the two-way.
Playing China.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Denmark.
like that.
All right.
They have Sweden over South Africa, 2.5. I do not like that. But I think on the three-way, if you can find it on a three-way,
Sweden.
it might be better to take Sweden, correct?
That would be a big minus.
That'd be a big
What
money.
do you mean by three-way?
Three-way, you can
This is
take the
not-
side or you can take the draw.
Okay.
Yeah. You can bet the draw and make pretty decent money every single time the draw is plus money.
Okay.
If you can
I
actually-
haven't seen it lower than +2.
yeah. So if you really feel a tie,
Now on Sunday, I really like this one, Joe. I don't know, you guys. The United States had to play the Netherlands for the Gold Cup last time.
yeah.
United
World
and
Cup.
Netherlands kept USA scoreless in the first. They're a really good team. They're playing Portugal, another really good team. Them two teams are going to fight it out. I like to draw at a +320.
Okay. Draw on the Netherlands. I'm going to check that out.
Okay, yeah,
and
check
we'll
it out.
we'll be able to parlay those too.
Correct. Another one I like is a lot of people are on South Korea, and they have every right to be on South Korea. But I like to draw on Monday because they're playing Colombia, and Colombia is one of those teams that nobody talks about, and I think that they're pretty decent. And don't want to cheat overs. Look them guys.
So tough picking the draw, you know.
You know you got issues of your parlay and draw on women's soccer. Okay.
That's what you're doing here. That's what you're doing. Incidentally, we should. That was it, right, for your picks?
Yeah.
We should congratulate Mexico, right? They won the CONCACAF Gold Cup, and Panama got second place. They were 11-1.
Yes.
So they did a really good job too. And that was a pretty good match. Mexico
I
scored
watched
in
it.
the 90th minute. Pretty
Except for
exciting.
I thought they had that red card. I didn't see him take that red card back, so I thought they were 10
They
minutes.
took it back.
Yeah, they took it back. I can't believe it.
And I watched that replay, and nobody touched him.
Oh, I
And
know.
he
That
just
was
went
bad.
flying.
That
in the
was terrible. Yeah, I agree with you, Joe.
Oh, you guys are going to love this. The Tour de France bicycle race, of course.
Did you watch that time trial?
I did watch the time trial. Jonas Vingegaard, amazing. He took a minute 40 or whatever off of Tadej Pogacar.
It was amazing because I think he was on like 17 seconds. Before that
it was
started?
16, and then after that, it was a minute 46.
Yeah.
So
That
it
was
was 10
amazing.
seconds, yeah.
That was amazing.
Dominate. That was the individual time trial. But even bigger was Wednesday. Vingegaard beat Pogacar by 6 minutes on the mountain stage. So he's up by 7 minutes and 35 seconds now. And 2 days ago, it was only 10 seconds difference. So that's domination. It's all over.
Right. I think we have one more mountain, one more
One more
hill.
mountain Saturday.
Yeah, that's it.
And one last chance to battle it out. So, trivia. Do you know who was the only American to win the Tour de France?
Multiple
I'd say-
times.
Was it Armstrong with one ball?
No. When you look at the years next to the times Armstrong was racing, there's a blank space. Yeah. All the drug users are not on the list anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So, would you guys remember Greg LeMond, who won it 3 times? I guess not.
I guess that's
No.
nothing but crickets here in the studio.
You guys, after he won it the first time, he was shot in a hunting accident. Is this ringing a bell?
that is.
And he recovered, and he won it 2 more times. He still got pellets.
Was he
in his
on
body.
his bike when he got shot?
No, he was just out
He
hunting.
was out hunting.
Yeah, no, that would be something else.
You sure it wasn't his wife?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. Stop. Hey, I don't know how your life is, but anyway, he was the first non-European to win it. He later received the Congressional Gold Medal, believe it or not. So you didn't know anything about the highest civilian award in the United States.
Absolutely.
Okay. Among other gold medal recipients, Congressional Gold Medal, George Washington, Thomas Edison, Rosa Parks, Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Jesse Owens, Winston Churchill, Mother Teresa, Pope John Paul II, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King. Pretty nice. And that's Greg
Great
LeMond,
names.
Yeah.
the bicyclist. Oh, by the way, his family home was 2.5 miles north of Carson City. He went to Wooster High School in Reno and biked to school almost every day. He actually trained our nearby mountains and just down the street right
Probably
here.
Mount Rose.
Right
Probably
to
went up
Kirk.
down Mountain Rose all the time.
He did. And then he took it up by incline, Highway 28,
Right.
back down to Carson and back home. Pretty awesome.
Just a day in the office.
Yeah, there you go. And he won it 3 times. So there you go. All right. A great American hero that nobody knows anything about. Okay.
About right.
Yeah, what a shame. But anyway, we do need to review just a little bit. Wimbledon, tennis's third major.
Wow.
Oh,
You did good.
well, that 20-year-old Spaniard. We did not predict this. I predicted Djokovic, the tennis god, Novak
And came out,
Djokovic,
spanked him
and the first set.
First set,
First set,
6-1.
But the 20-year-old Spaniard, Carlos Alcaraz, that was an epic 5-set battle.
Right.
4 hours and 42 minutes.
Yes, I had it taped because it started at what time in the morning, Joe?
6
in the morning. I had it taped.
Breakfast at Wimbledon.
Yes, so I was going to have brunch at Big Rich's house and watch it taped, and I turned it on and it was still going, so I didn't have to watch the tape. Yeah, so
It was
I
unbelievable.
watched it live in that last set, and it was what a set. And I saw Djokovic take his racket and smack the Wimbledon wooden stake, which I don't know if he has to pay for that. I think he should. I mean, it's a very expensive thing, I would think, but showed his temper.
He did put a little dent in it, didn't he?
We got to see.
He hurt his hand a little bit.
That we saw John McEnroe in there again. That was kind of a moment for John McEnroe. Kind of a flashback to the 80s when he was throwing tempers.
Well, yeah, frustration definitely set in for Djokovic. He started losing. I think he took Alcaraz maybe a little for granted because he never. It was only his 4th tournament on grass ever.
Right.
And
Joe, you put it out there. He beat him already. They were 1-1 in their matchup, so he definitely plays well against them.
well, yeah.
And in a 5-set, 4-hour shows you how well they're very evenly matched.
Usually it's like on clay when they last that long because they got the endless rallies, but that was just a war right there. That was a great match.
Perfect.
Historical.
And what about the women's?
How about that? No, that was Alcaraz's second major, by the way, and that was Czech player Markéta Vondrasova.
Unranked.
Unranked, yes. She beat Anjabur. It's the first unseeded woman ever to win Wimbledon. And you could have got odds at least 100-1 on her. I didn't see the.
It probably wasn't even there. Probably wasn't even out. What about her tattoos?
No, those are very interesting.
Yeah, I thought they were just one of those things that your kid does.
Mm-hmm.
Those are permanent. I thought they were just the temporary ones your kids put on. I mean, but
it's kind of got a lot long streaks and stuff. And
her trainer has to get her coach and trainer has to get a tattoo.
Now
he has to get a tattoo.
Well, cool. Yeah, she's an interesting looking one, but she had nothing to lose. She wasn't expected to do anything.
Played very well, and it was good to see. And then just the disappointment and
Djokovic.
No, and the woman's one.
Sure.
Yeah. And they just wouldn't leave her alone. I mean, they just kept following her. Like, here she is crying in the bathroom. Here she is crying in the locker room. Here she is crying. I'm like, God, let her have a minute and go look at the winner. They were just
walking around to get there and then lose that chance like she did.
I know. She's what? That's her third one that she's
third major that she's lost now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the final. Yeah.
Right.
But Djokovic, he started to cry when he started to talk about his son that was actually at the match and after he lost and he started choking up. And I said, okay, that's good enough. Good. And that was the end of the
kids still show you the admiration they have for their dad. That was kind of nice.
It's great that his kids get to watch him play.
Right.
So
biggest stage in the world, Wimbledon. Tennis.
More motivation for Djokovic now,
right,
to do well in the U.S. Open. So
Alcaraz, what was Alcaraz? What was his other major he won? Was it the Austria?
He won U.S. Open last year.
Oh, the U.S. Open.
Yeah. So he's going to try to defend that in late August,
right? And
early September.
He would be the favorite, I would imagine.
I would think Djokovic should be the favorite. We're going to have to look into that.
Defending his title? Come on. All right.
Okay. And of course, we have to mention that American Century Celebrity Golf Tournament, which we kind of started to talk about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just up at the mountain in South Lake Town. Steph Curry won with an eagle on the last hole over Marty Fish after making a hole-in-one on Saturday. Yes, I think you mentioned that. Which will lead to my You Got Host story. Charles Barkley finished in 81st, as I predicted, not in the top 70.
He was so close.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't that
He wasn't. Was closer than he's been in a while.
Yeah. Well, the first day he played well, and then the next 2 days he was his normal self, and he's probably up.
Hard hats were being worn by everybody in the area because the golf balls were flying everywhere.
Well, yeah, and so were probably the cocktails and the chips.
Maybe he celebrated that day one out there at the Hard Rock, and
I'm thinking he was up till 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Playing blackjack, and just a wild guess. I didn't go up there and check it out and see if he was out there, but he is very popular there on the tables.
Right.
And so he petered out. But
Chuck.
Oh, good old Chuck. In the next 2 rounds, he played terrible, as you would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but any thoughts on that? Pavelski got 3rd, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Sure.
Yeah. So, but Steph Curry won. He was as high as 12-1 at one time. People.
Was there anything this guy can't do? I mean, if he's that good, could he maybe switch over when he's 38 to go play golf?
Sure. Why not? No, I don't see it. These are just amateurs, basically.
He didn't look like he was.
Yeah.
He was playing a fun game at the country club. He was playing to win for sure.
But there are some guys, who
Very competitive.
Who've been close to professional. Tony Romo.
John Smoltz.
Very good. John Smoltz. Annika Sorenstam.
Yeah.
Was playing.
Romo's always up there though.
Yeah. Not this time.
No.
He didn't fire at all.
No. I don't know why not, but
no, he finished like 8th or something. I was surprised, and Romo was my pick, and that went down the toilet, obviously. So, but that does lead me to my You Got Host story. You Got Host is the part of the show where
right.
we it looked like you were going to have a winning bet. Something went terribly wrong.
Well,
something that shouldn't have happened, and you end up having a losing bet.
You got hosed.
Well, I took Kyle Busch in the NASCAR, and he went out like the 10th lap.
Oh,
so I figured I got hosed. I mean, gosh, could you be? I mean, the first guy at least get to the first stage before I throw my ticket away. But yeah, thanks, Kyle Busch.
Yeah,
that is get host.
I mean, you get all excited. You're trying to win a bet, and you're gone by the 11th lap.
Yes,
and you don't even want to watch the rest of the race.
I didn't.
Okay, good. That was it.
I did. Correctly good.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Well, mine's from the Canadian Football League because we had Winnipeg at 4-1 playing Ottawa 1-3. Now the books had the opening line with Ottawa at a plus 320, and by the time the game started, it went up to plus 360.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a lot of money. So, anyways, here we go. Third quarter, Winnipeg's winning 25-6. When Ottawa's not doing much of anything. So what happens in the fourth quarter? Ottawa received 19 points, and Winnipeg receives nothing. Got shut out that quarter. So
25-25.
So 25-25 going into overtime. Ottawa gets the ball first. They score 3, and Winnipeg gets a touchdown for 6. And
was it the other way?
Or the other way around? Winnipeg
got 3,
and then Ottawa got a touchdown for 6. And so I say if you have Winnipeg at a minus 490, Joe, you got hosed.
That's big. Winnipeg is one of the favorites to win the cup.
Oh, yeah.
Ottawa, definitely not.
Exactly.
Well, of course, my You Got Host story goes to Marty Fish. Anybody who watched the end of the tournament, he was leading by 3 points on the 18th tee. He's in the middle of his backswing, and some idiot yells on purpose to screw him up. And it worked. Fish hit it in the trees. He had to lay up on his second shot. He ended up getting a par where he should have ended up getting a birdie. if he gets a birdie on that par 5, Curry and him would have gone to a playoff. Instead, Fish loses by 1 shot, basically.
He bogeyed it.
He got a par.
I got a par. Okay.
Yeah, and Curry got an eagle. So he jumped. Had he got a birdie, which he should have,
Right.
they would have been tied and going to a playoff.
Well,
So
just to let everybody know, I was working on Sunday. I was nowhere near that golf course. It wasn't me that yelled.
no,
It's back.
we're still trying to find that guy somewhere. Security and everybody was all over him, but everything I read, they haven't done anything to him. So I think it would have been fair had somebody yelled in the middle of Steph Curry's backswing just to even things out. But that didn't happen. So Fish, he got hosed, and so did everyone who bet on him. So very disrespectful.
Very disrespectful, but the guy might have had Steph Curry on his winning ticket, so maybe it was a NASCAR type of cheating.
Some crazy Warrior fan. That's what I think.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, he could have had a bet.
You got hosed.
So anyway, so I guess that's it for the show. I thank you, Big Rich and Gator.
Gator, Joe.
Gator, thanks for the women's soccer picks, man. I'm gonna
I think I'm going to jump on that. Well, you're going to be at least a draw part of the game at the beginning.
I love the draws.
Because it's going to be 0-0 for a while.
Like Joe said, none of them are, they're all plus 200s.
Right.
Or higher.
Corky, thanks for being on the show.
Of course.
Pleasure. Happy to be here.
Yes. And we thank Rockin' Ronnie McKinnon also.
Right.
And all you listeners out there. And we look forward to bringing you another episode next week of Covering the Field.
All right.
You've been listening to Covering the Field. Email us at coveringthefield@gmail.com for all your comments or questions. Find us on Twitter @CoveringField. And of course, always check out the website for our picks of the week and updated articles. coveringthefield.com.